So today, simple slide, simple message, going beyond. The talk title came to me on Friday. I didn't have a talk going on until Friday. I had nothing happening. Nothing was in my mind. And I'm in with Forrest doing a workout. And the machine that I was on was the leg press machine, and with it, it's computer generated, so it's motors. It doesn't have weights on it. And so the computer shows you in every part of the movement where you are with respect to where you were in that last movement, or where you are in respect to where you were with the prior workout you did. And if you know, there's this thing where you go up, that's your ascending movement, or pushing in with the leg, and then there's the force of coming down, and you actually do more with it coming down. You actually have a greater capacity to do that. So as I'm watching that, I'm realizing that every time it's a rep, I'm purposely going above what I did the last time. When I got to the fourth rep, on that downward thing, it was done. I collapsed. I had spent all of my energy. And that really hit me right at that moment. Why is that a talk? Because in order for your muscles to grow, you've got to go beyond what you're currently doing. You can't grow your muscles if you're not going beyond what you're already doing. So if you're talking about cardio, you've got to do more cardio than what you're doing now to have a better response from it. And so I started to think about that, and I said, oh my God, I remember 9-10 years ago, there was a meditation that came out by, of all people, Tina Turner. Tina Turner had her last CD that came out was a deeply spiritual CD. And one of her meditations was going beyond. And I just started to hear that start playing in my mind, and it really resonated with me. And so I'm looking for an image online as to what can symbolize going beyond. And so this is the image that I came up with. And if you noticed, it's an individual going up, right? Going up in what? Level of awareness. Because that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to increase our level of awareness. And what happens? Think about this. If you're going up a mountain and you're at 1,000 feet and you look out, you have a view. If you go up to 2,000 feet, you have a completely different view. If you go up to 3,000 feet, you have a completely different view. When we were at 18,400 feet on the top of, not at the top of Mount Kailash, not even at about 2/3 up Mount Kailash, which is as high as you can go, you had a view that was unlike anything you've ever seen in your life. So what does that symbolize? It symbolizes that as your awareness changes, your scope of looking at life like this expands. And you can see more of life that way. But the lower your level of awareness, the more pinpointed what you see. So climbing is one thing, going up in level of awareness. But you notice in this picture, this individual is what? They're pushing a boulder. Well, whoa. How hard is that? Can you imagine going up an incline, pushing a boulder? What does that boulder represent? Your past. Think about that. All the past stuff, all the things that you've judged yourself on, all of the experiences that you've not come to peace with, you're trying to push that up with you, go up with a level of awareness. Now, is it going to allow you to become more aware? The past is going to keep you stuck where? At the same level where you had it. What's the key? You got to let the past go. It's that simple. What is forgiveness? It's an exercise of letting the past go. Understanding there's a lesson, there's something to be gained from it, and then you let it go. No emotion attached to it. The process of seeing the balance in everything. I like that more than forgiveness. When I can look at an event and I can see just as much good came from the event as bad, I'm in balance. I'm no longer got that rock I'm pushing up. So is it just the past? No. What else does that boulder represent? It represents our current habits. Think about that. Our current habits right now create our life because they're what? They all start within our mind. And most of our habits are what? Unconscious. So we've accepted all of these habits unconsciously. They become who we are, and we live by these unconscious habits, the way we treat people, the way we respond or react to things. When we have habits, we don't respond, we react. And we know nothing good comes from reacting. Reacting always is an unconscious choice. So there we are, and we've got these habits, and we don't take the time. We'll start something. I'm going to change this habit. I'm going to start it, but we never go long enough to implement it as an unconscious habit. See, what we want to do is we want to take a habit that we're consciously choosing. We want to start building it and building it and building it until it becomes an unconscious habit that automatically happens. So now we don't have to think about that because that habit's now in place, and now we can think about, okay, what aspect of my life now do I want to change, and what new habit do I want to bring in there? I noticed that I had a habit because I broke my bone and had surgery. I couldn't work out. And I was feeling like, because I love to work out because how am I going to live to 124 plus years if I'm not working out? I'll become a mushmelon. And so I approached Forrest and I said, what if I came in on my regular times and I just did the leg press machine and I did the VAS bar, which is a cardio machine. He goes, we can make that work. So, okay. So I went beyond what I thought I could do, didn't I? Then after doing that I did it Tuesday and I did it Friday, because you only do it twice a week. And then when I left Forrest Place on Friday, I went to the gym, LA Fitness in Frisco, because ideas came to me. They have a pec deck machine, chest press, where they've got pads. I can do this without using my hands. They have a shoulder press machine that you can do this without using your hands. They also had a back machine that you can go like this, using your elbows and your upper arms instead of using your hands. They had machines I could do my abs and not use my hands. You see, I had to go beyond what the doctor said to me and said, don't work out. Because why? If I didn't work out, what would happen to my body? It would atrophy. So the question is, here's the real thing. What does MD after a doctor's name stand for? Minor deity. Because that's what we do with them. We put them on a pedestal and we say that everything they tell us we must listen to. Do you know it's a medical practice? It's not a medical knowing. They don't know what's right for every individual. Why? Because every individual is unique. And until we can embrace the fact that we're an individual and we're not a statistic, we're going to be a statistic. See, if you live your life unconsciously, you will be a statistic. The thought came to me this week, was I responsible for the broken bone in my hand? Because I've been talking about how things just happen to you. Things just happen. And I go, I am responsible for what happened to me. Why? Because I was not aware. Because if I had had more awareness, I would have seen that that was a temporary construction wall. I would have seen and known that the winds were gusting that day. The weatherman had seen it. I could feel the winds as I was walking to that wall. Had I been aware of that, I would have just simply walked on the other side of the street and realized, why would I ever walk near a construction site like that? So I'm not beating myself up for it, but I'm saying, did I have control? Am I responsible for me breaking a bone here? And the answer is, I am. Because it was my level of awareness that allowed that to happen. And then I go back, and I took that further, and I went back to the idea of when I had pneumonia in June, and I'm never sick. Christina, you know me for a lot of years. Bonnie, you too. Am I ever sick? But I was in the hospital for 2 days with pneumonia. It took me 6 weeks to recover. And I'm saying, am I responsible for getting pneumonia? The answer is yes. Why? What causes pneumonia? An immune system that's compromised. Is that not true? Any disease is caused by an immune system that's compromised. What causes compromise in an immune system? 90% of the time, it's stress. I didn't realize at that time the stress I was holding in, ergo I weakened my immune system, ergo there was a germ out there, ergo it came in, and I had the experience. The key thing in New Thought is when you understand that you have 100% responsibility, you figure out that you've got the responsibility, but you don't go beat yourself up. This is what happens. So many people, oh, he's got that. He must be awful. No, he's just becoming more aware. Everything in life is about helping us to get to another level of awareness. And when we can look at that, then life is a joy. It's a peace. It's magnificent. So we've got what? The past, our habits. Here's the last thing. This is really good. It's our limited perspective. Do you see in that thing? It's not up there right now. The boulder. If you don't believe you can have more than you've got, you're not going to even take the time to think you can have more. Your limited perspective is actually holding you where you are right now. It's holding you where you are right now with respect to money. It's holding where you are with respect to relationships. It's holding you back with respect to health. It's holding you back with respect to where you want to take your career or what type of career you want to be in. It's holding you back because you have not fully embraced the idea that you are unlimited. That anything that you can conceive and build a belief on, you can experience. Did you hear that? Anything that you can conceive. What can you conceive? The Christmas story, the virginity of Mary, the Father. Who is the Father of Jesus? They said what in the Bible? The Holy Ghost came upon the Virgin Mary. And Jesus was conceived. Let's look at it as an allegory. Infinite takes an idea, places it into the creative medium that is untainted with limitation meaning virgin, or without being a non-virgin. So being into a virgin consciousness, one that just accepts what's ever put into it, creates the perfect form of what was created. But if it's not, in the sense of using the term not a virgin, it means it's tainted, it's stuck in the past, it's got preconceived ideas, it can't create the new form. Does that make sense? So when you really start to see what is the Christmas story about, the Christmas story is the creative process. You've got to get beyond your limited mind, go to the infinite mind within you that is desiring to express itself, put a belief in place, thought, words, actions, and feelings, aligned toward a specific result, held persistently and consistently. That's your creative process. You hold that, and then this infinite medium that is there that creates all things will give you that experience. But you can't do it if you're with a person or with a mindset that's not virgin. Are you hearing that? You can't do it with your mind as it is now, tied with its ego bonds to what you currently have. You've got to go beyond. You've got to go beyond the idea that I'm 40, today's the 8th, 9 more days and I'll hit 47 years of marriage. I've got to go beyond the idea that a man or a woman married 47 years has this experience. Talk to my wife afterwards. She'll tell you I'm always going beyond that. It's always got to be exciting. You've got to be trying new things all the time, whether it's new restaurants, new movies. Have you seen the movie Knives Out? Oh, is that a wonderful movie? The plot, the person who thought of this plot, it's just beyond. That's why the movie was good, because it was beyond what you would expect. Because if you get what you expect, what do you become? Bored. What kills most relationships? Boredom. What gets people to develop addictions? Boredom. What keeps people in lack? Being bored. When you're inspired, when you're moving beyond, you're creating new ways of expressing yourself, doing things that serve more people, serving more people, more abundance comes to you. The more you're in relationship, going beyond, making it exciting, the more the partner gives back to you. The more you do to keep your health up based on, keep this in mind, the food and the drink that you put into your mouth. Your body is so smart that it takes it and it creates your body. The question you want to ask is, am I putting in food that I want my body to create into me? Go to the mall and go to the food court and look around and tell me if you find very many conscious eaters. So Brian Brickman has a YouTube channel, Brick Eats, and he reviews burgers and tacos, and he reviewed the Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich. And Brian's review was, delicious. Step aside Chick-fil-A, this sandwich is better. Did I sum that up right? Damn right I did. So I'm going home from something on Friday, from the gym, and I'm starving. I haven't eaten. I didn't eat breakfast that day. And so I'm going home, and I said, oh, there's a Whoppers. I'm going to stop in at the Whoppers. But this Whoppers was joint with a Popeyes chicken. So I'm walking in, I'm thinking about, Brian said that sandwich was the cat's meow. And I thought about, I haven't eaten fried chicken in over 20 years. But I knew at Burger King, they have my Impossible Burger. And that is really good. Doesn't upset your stomach. I find it feeds me. It's nutritious. And I walked over to the line at Popeyes. I looked up. I took a whiff. And I walked over and got my Impossible Burger. Because I realized, for me, I want you to know this is for me, that would not have done me any good. I would have paid for that all day long. I do not eat fried food. So that would have paid for me all night long, so I didn't do that. But you see what I'm saying? To go beyond, it's a conscious choice, isn't it? If you want health, it's a conscious choice. If you want abundance, it's a conscious choice. If you want career, it's a conscious choice. If you want relationship, it's a conscious choice. You got to let go of the past. You got to let go of the habits that are creating your life now and build new habits. And then you've got to let go of the limitations that we have created in our minds unconsciously by other people. That's the work. And it takes a lot of work because it means being aware 24/7. So if you're going to ask me, Lee, do you think we'll ever get to 24/7 level of awareness? I'll tell you no. Because we're human. And in this human form, we're meant to experience life. We're meant to experience our senses, and our senses can only function through contrast. And we're here to do it, but let's make it more conscious about what we choose to have the contrast in. The more conscious, and we take responsibility, it gives life a bit of zippity-doo. You can't wait to get up in the morning because you say, what am I going to create today? I had no idea what I would say to you today. The only thing I'd prepared was the talk title. But I did a treatment, spiritual mind treatment, saying, that which is within me that knows more is going to bring out that which I will speak. You trust in that. You do it over and over and over again. And when you build that trust, you live from that trust, and it always works, and then you can trust it. It's not blind faith, it's a knowing faith because you've trusted. You've proven it for yourself. That's the one thing we teach at Agape more than anything. Don't believe a single word I tell you until you've proven it for yourself. Until you've proven it for yourself, you'll never own it. And if you don't own it, you won't live it. So test me. Prove me right or prove me wrong. It doesn't matter what, but prove me.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wallach. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.